Thank you for joining us for this recording. I want to know, are you interested in growing in your relationship with God and developing a healthy relationship with food by learning more about both God and food? This is what the study, An Appetite for God, has to offer. And I would like to introduce myself, Darlene Naecker, and Linda Gould. And we're going to briefly highlight the study and the results and the experience of some that have already gone through this. And we're going to offer an invitation to you to join in a study in a very convenient way, virtually like this. So let me introduce myself and tell you a little bit about why this is so meaningful to me. I want to say first, all three of us are Christian women that mentor others. And we're active in our local churches, we're active in our community, and we just want to really serve others by optimizing our health and growing in our relationship with God. I became passionate about health and wellness because I watched my mother at the age of 50 lose her health and lose her life at the age of 61. That's 20 years ago. And then I watched my father pass away at the age of 71. Now, for the past 13 years, I have become a student of wellness. I have made the changes that we're going to learn about in this study. And I've coached others who have made major lifestyle changes as well. And I've watched them reclaim their health one after another. Everything that I do is with God at the center. And I love, like Linda and Darlene, I love to serve people and bring hope. So let me introduce you to Darlene, who's going to introduce you to Linda Jeffries, who is the author of An Appetite for God. Now, Darlene is a role model to me because she's about 10 years ahead of me in age on this journey. And I just look up to her because I love her health and her vibrance. And that's what I aspire to be 10 years from now. She's a certified holistic health coach, and she's a passionate food expert. When it comes to growing and making food taste good, she knows the benefits of what we're putting in our body, and she knows how to grow it and make it in amazing recipes. And simple. You want to follow Darlene in her kitchen. She lives an active lifestyle depending on 0 prescriptions, and she's full of life and energy. So Darlene, I'll pass it to you to introduce the study.
Thank you, Jessie. And I do love to cook, and I love to feed you all when you come here. So
we love it.
Because I love working with these women who love God, and they love to take care of their bodies and honor Him, and that's what this is about. So this book was written by Dr. Linda Jeffrey, and I have to read this. She has a long list of credentials. She has a Doctor of Education in Curriculum and Instruction, as well as a Master of Science degree in Genetics, a Bachelor of Science degree in Chemistry, and a physician's assistant degree. She's a co-author of Dr. Deanna's Healing Handbook. She's a researcher, she's a speaker, and she's an author of many books, articles, and papers. So at age 57, Dr. Jeffries was very sick. She was a sick puppy. Her health was poor. Her doctor advised her to update her will. Can you imagine? She was told to see a specialist. Walking downstairs to tie her shoes even was painful for her. They told her to see a chiropractor. That didn't help. And she believed that it was normal and expected just to gain weight as she went through the menopause years. So in high school, her daughter was 289 pounds and a size 22. And they were spending money left and right on any diet / weight loss program that they could find, and to no avail. They were not working. So the daughter, of course, was depressed, and she felt pretty hopeless. So then her mom was introduced to a lifestyle that was simple, it was sustainable, and in Dr. Jeffries' words, it helped her grocery bill to drop dramatically. I like that, drop dramatically. And she was a single mom. So pretty soon her joint pain was diminishing, her weight was dropping, her energy was returning, her clear thinking. Family members were joining in with her. They wanted to do what she was doing. And they, in turn, told other people, which is great. This is a word of mouth. And then her extended family had introduced her to this lifestyle. So her daughter has now maintained this beautiful size 10 that she's at. And Dr. Jeffrey says, genetics do not control or dictate a future of hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, cancer. So if those are any of the things that you relate to, then you do not have to think that genetics is going to dictate this. So this 40-day study is easy to follow. We're going to break it down into weeks. It's going to answer all the why questions and it gives results. The lessons are a result of scripture, study, the study that Dr. Jeffries has done, and it reviews the current research showing how our food system is so different than what our grandparents followed 40, 50 years ago. So very different. And not necessarily nutritious at all. I mean, food today is not really food. It's so processed. But it passes for food, and it's actually very addictive, even more addictive than cocaine in some cases. And it's actually making us sick. So it's well documented that we as Americans are so ignorant of the greed that is driving this food or so-called food industry. So we hope that you do join us. Jessie's going to fill in after you hear some testimonies, because these are easy. There's easy meal plans, there's recipes, there's grocery shopping lists, and each lesson has a Bible study, it has a health lesson, it has what you do, what our part is each week. We keep a food journal, we comment on how we're doing with it and what we've learned, and then what we need to improve on, because this is a journey. It's not like, oh, we've arrived here. It's a journey of health. And then we'll meet one time a week. We'll discuss our challenges, if we have any, our experiences, but mostly of all the successes. So now I'm going to turn it back to Jessie so she can introduce Linda and you can hear some testimonies.
Thank you, Darlene. So my other BFF on screen here is Linda Gould. And Linda is a certified holistic health coach as well. And she's coached many in reclaiming their health, including myself about 7 years ago. And Linda, I call her my detox diva. And not only that, she helps us become label readers and make good decisions. She's a member of the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. Linda has led several of the Appetite for God studies, and she's going to share how she has, what she's experienced. And I believe that the information she's going to share is going to help you to make the decision if this is right for you to jump in with us.
All right. Thank you so much. And Jessie and Darlene, I am just so very blessed that both of you ladies are in my life. You have changed my life, and I love it, and I thank God for that. So if you look at 1 Thessalonians 5:23, it indicates how much God desires for us to preserve our whole spirit and soul and our body together. And it's our intent in these 40 days of Appetite for God that God will transform you and show you how to nourish your body. And just know, like Darlene said, it's a journey. This is not a once and done, because we're all called to take up.
We're not hearing you, Linda.
Your sound, she's muted. Please unmute her. Here we go.
Sorry, I got a call coming in. Dr. Jeffrey says that the 40 days gives time to prepare for our best service in God's kingdom by making changes in the way we eat, cook, and access our foods. And even in our mindset of how we approach that. I'm adding that. So Appetite for God is also called the Fit to Serve program because it helps us to come out of the nutrition wilderness. And I'd like to take a few minutes and share some of the great testimonies from my friends who have either completed the Appetite for God or who are currently in it right now. And I'd like to share from Stacy first. She has an amazing testimony. So I'll be reading a lot of these testimonies. So Stacy said that she had never really made the spiritual connection to the physical connection between eating and God. And she said, I've struggled with food, but I didn't want to hear about it. And over the summer, God sent several people into her life to get her attention, and one was her pastor. And he and his wife had been on their own healthy living journey. And then there was another Christian who had heard from the Lord, and he had told her, Tina, I have a lot of really wonderful things for you to do, but your health isn't good enough. And that really got Stacy's attention. And then she said when she learned about Appetite from God, Appetite for God from me, she knew it was exactly what she needed. So what are some of the things that people are nervous about when they are getting started with this Appetite for God? Well, nervous about surrendering their daily cups or pots of coffee to God, and their sweet tooth, or shall I say sweet teeth, grocery shopping, food prep, and even how to deal with eating out and dealing with family events. And we can help you overcome all that. So this is when I asked them, how did you feel when you started? Because we're journaling through this whole thing. So let me just ask you, can you relate to any of these? Old beyond my years. I can barely get up off the floor. I'm drained. I can barely make it from work to dinner through homework in the evenings. I can't wait to get back into bed. I have a slow metabolism. I've always struggled with my weight. I do want to be healthier and have the proper support. I do want to learn how to make better life choices in what I'm putting in my body. I want to feel better. I feel like crap now. And I hate to cook, and I despise cutting up veggies. So what did they say after they had been in the study for the first couple of weeks? God's timing is perfect. Every single one of them said that. Some said, I didn't realize how much wilderness there was in my life around my food choices. I feel encouraged now. I was so worried about food prep. I'm adding in veggies my parents couldn't get me to eat when I was a child. I had to call them and tell them. I'm off soda for 3 weeks. I feel okay without coffee. I have peace. I'm not anxious about planning. I'm giving myself grace. The information and knowledge is amazing. Now I know why I can't stay focused or get up off the floor. And I learned that it's self-care to cut up veggies, and taking care of myself is a good thing. And learning that food is fuel for my body, not for my comfort. So what were some of the physical changes and mental changes that they felt? Not feeling bloated, feeling less puffy, sleeping well, getting into a groove. I'm sticking with it. I'm making more educated choices. I realized I was carrying around subconscious guilt around eating certain foods like mac and cheese. And I feel healthier in my mind. I feel completely different, especially about veggies. God is awakening me. It's such an eye-opener to see and learn what's happening to our foods and how much food affects how we feel. Satan doesn't want us to feel good. I'm really excited. I understand now that I have to get healthy first, then lose the weight. My mind is there. Honestly, I'm not hungry. The shake fills me up. I'm snacking on good things. God is breaking the chains of my unhealthy eating habits. So I'll close my part with sharing what one of my other girls said when I asked her, what is like the one tip or one thing you would say to encourage someone to do Appetite for God study? And she said, I would encourage anyone that has that desire to be closer to God and lean on Him to overcome the struggle of food, to use this study to close the gap. And I just love that. And then she goes on to say, He's there every day in the pages, smiling as you learn the principles that He has for our health. I almost felt Him smiling when I had aha moments. So let me just ask you to ponder and pray on this. What are you craving and desiring in your life? And can I encourage you to surrender them and crave the Word of God? We have it all wrong when we think it's about God taking away our pleasures in life around eating and foods, but it's really about Him helping us become free and live an abundant life. So may God bless your health. And I'll be praying for you to join us in this study as we surrender our appetites for God.
Thank you, Linda. It's just life-changing to hear that some of the things that you heard Linda say are things that we hear day in and day out, all three of us, as we coach people. And to add God into the mix of this, How could you go wrong? I just want to say this is a very unique opportunity. The three of us are going to be contributing on this 6-week study around all of the credentials and the success of Linda Jeffrey. And like I said, with God in the middle. So the question is God nudging you? I agree, Linda. We ask them to pray and ponder, but don't ponder too long, because there's never going to be the perfect time, but we believe that now is the time, and it's not an accident that you have been sent this recording to consider optimizing your health with us and growing in the Lord. So we're going to start a study this November the 28th, and it'll be at 6:30 p.m. It'll be this format with a Zoom, so we couldn't make it any more convenient. We will record it, but we really would encourage you to make the time to be on live so that you can interact with us and with each other. And then we're going to try to have a social or a dinner or some kind of a mingle, either at the end or maybe in the middle, where we can meet each other. And we will skip the week of Christmas because we know it gets crazy. But what better time to walk through this journey than around the holidays when you have all of those temptations? So I hope you'll consider it. Please get back to the person that sent this to you, or to us if we sent it to you, and let us know, did I say there's no cost to this except for the cost of the workbook? So it's just an investment of time. We encourage you to do that, and we thank you for listening.